So as the Upper Norwood Library Hub continues with a mixture of live and online events, which started in the early part of 2020 due to COVID-19, we hope you enjoy this second film season. For our final screening tonight, we will continue with the theme of community, collaborations, and people making change happen in challenging circumstances. The focus tonight is on the young person's voice. So to end our season, we have Hannan, who is one half of the Rainbow Collective, and they are an award-winning documentary filmmaking company, who also teach filmmaking and journalism, plus run animation and film workshops for young people. Tonight, we're going to chat about how Rainbow Collective began their journey as filmmakers, but also how they came to work with communities across the globe, plus their animation and film projects with young people. Before we screen Rainbow Collective shorts, we'll have a short conversation between screenings to give viewers some backgrounds as to how these films came about. The films we will see tonight reflect their work with young people, but we will hear from Hannan about the range of work they do. So, welcome Hannan to the Upper Norwood Library Hub. So, can you talk about how you and Richard, who's the other half of the Rainbow Collective, started, and how over time you connected your filmmaking with local communities and working with animation and filmmaking projects with young people?
Well, thank you, Tracy, and thank you for having us as part of your event. And so, yeah, me and Richard started working together back in 2005. We both went to the same film school, which was the Northern Film School in Leeds. And while I was there, I'd focused on making documentaries. So I'd made, in my final year, I'd made 2 documentaries. One was about refugees coming to Britain, and then another one was about homelessness. And Richard was making short movies and getting awards for them. And so then when I graduated, an opportunity came for us both to go to South Africa to make a feature documentary about a high school, which was called Amazulu, the Children of Heaven. And when we started making that, we thought the process of making that resulted in us, and we co-directed that together. I filmed it, he produced it with Denise York, who was my tutor, and his mum. And we thought, you know what, let's set up a business together looking at this type of stuff, talking about social justice, talking about human rights, talking about children's rights. And that's how the Rainbow Collective came about. It started in South Africa. It was a reference to the Rainbow Nation. And from there, it was that experience of working with a community in Umlazi Township really spurred us on to think this is kind of what we want to do. So when we came back to Britain, while we were editing the film, we started coming up with more ideas about what are the type of projects that we want to do. We followed that up with going back to South Africa to do a documentary about street children. And then we also did a documentary with the National Children's Homes in the UK and quite a few other places. So that was the film side of us, focusing on social justice. The youth element of us, of training, came about quite early on as well. Because when we did that documentary in South Africa, we were teaching a group of local students. We brought them onto the shoot. We did a 1-week intensive course with them. They actually ended up filming some things that were part of the film, some behind the scenes stuff as well. And we started doing. It was really when we moved from Yorkshire to London, we moved our business from Yorkshire to London, that we started youth work, and our filmmaking kind of were just side and side. We were doing pretty much half and half, We were working with youth groups. We were working with our city council in Tower Hamlets, doing youth projects. We were working with schools and all sorts of things like that.
Yeah, what I was going to say, it's really interesting because your filmmaking has kind of taken you all over, and it's interesting that element of the different communities that you've come across over through your work has kind of brought you to work a lot within community, because I think the films that we've shown over the seasons have all been different aspects about people reacting to change, people working in communities together, and different ways of working together, which is really important. And I think a lot of that has come over lockdown as well, because we will also see some of your a film that happened during lockdown. one of your films that we were going to see shortly is to do with the Roundhouse and working with young people. Can you tell me a bit about that project?
Yeah, no, so we're very fortunate that we have this great relationship with the Roundhouse Theatre. And it started a few years ago when we did the one of the Wax Lyrical projects, which was in person. So it was, we were there while there were the young people who were doing poetry. And as part of it, we wanted to bring in a film element. And the film element was filmed by the young people and was presented on the screen while they did their poetry. And so when lockdown happened, there was another Wax Lyrical was scheduled to happen, but because of lockdown, there was no way of us being able to do anything in person. So the whole idea was, okay, how do you do a project, a poetry, dance, film project via this Zoom setup that we were all used to now? So for us, it wasn't too much of a problem, because by that point, we were already doing quite a lot over Zoom. So we were running animation workshops, we were running citizen journalism workshops over Zoom. And so for us to kind of work with a group of young people to get them to create content over Zoom, teach them over Zoom, not create the content using the Zoom thing, but just teach them over Zoom, wasn't too hard for us, because these were workshops that we were doing. So a lot of it worked with, the young people who were working with the poets, the dancers over Zoom. And then over the when it came to our element, we were teaching them about composition. We were teaching them about, how
that comes across really strongly in the piece that we will be seeing shortly. That composition, the different styles, the young people finding their own voices and actually doing it across this platform, which we said the whole reason for this film season came out of the pandemic. So it's such a strong piece. And I think your journey as filmmakers and doing this work with them really comes through really strongly. But it is about you empowering them and this sort of collaborative working.
Yeah, and I think the young people, we're just kind of tools. It's them and the brilliant work that they do. And I think once you just kind of let a light bulb go off and get them to be creative and to get them to look around their surroundings, and kind of when you're teaching someone with a camera, just look at everything slightly different. So, when you start teaching them about the different compositions, say, why don't we go down a little bit and look up, or why don't we go up a little bit and look, or sometimes just look at eye level. What do you see? And so for them, I thought there were some absolutely stunning moments in that sequences in their videos. And one of the things that's interesting with that one as well, it wasn't just the compositions and stuff. When it came to the editing, the young people were very clear on what they wanted, how they wanted these elements to be edited. There's quite a bit of After effects in there as well, which you'll be able to notice with the colors and stuff like that. They come up with that themselves.
That's really strong. That comes across really strong. And I think that is quite important as well in some of the other animations that you've done with the groups in Peckham as well.
Yep.
That comes across really strongly in the work. But I think how the young people express themselves, I think the viewers will see when they watch it, is just really powerful and very individual, and it really reminds us of how intense lockdown was. Even though we hopefully are moving out of it, it is a bit of a jolt to think, oh yeah, that's what was going on behind these closed doors when we were locked down.
And before you show the thing, I just wanted to add, I think, because that was right in the midst of like the intense lockdown. I think it was the second lockdown, which I thought was a lot harsher than any of the other lockdowns.
You felt it. You
felt it.
Yeah.
No, the optimism wasn't there. The clapping wasn't there. All of that. It was just cold. It was dark, and I think for me, that film will be etched in our memories because it was of that time. So when we think of lockdown, what will we be doing? And I will think of something like that. And I think it's so beautiful that you've got these young people, and this is young people all over. And at this moment where us as adults probably were struggling, you've got these young people who were struggling as well, but being so creative and finding a way to channel that frustration that they've got into something really creative. So that's one of the reasons I really love that project, and I really love everything that's in that. And it's not just about the filmmaking. The words are beautiful. The dancing is fantastic. It's just we were just really pleased with that project, because when you do it in person, it's an amazing project. When you're able to see the theatre, when you see it at the Roundhouse, and when you see the young people doing poetry and dance. But because we couldn't do that, trying to do it all, so then it gets seen on a Zoom screen over a Zoom event, but still for it to be so engaging and look beautiful and feel so powerful, I think it was for us, I felt as though overall the whole project was a big success.
Well, I think we really built this film up, so I think it's time now for people to see Wax Lyrical.
Oh my God, it's so nice to hear from you. It's been a long time since I saw you and everything.
Hey, it's good to hear from you. Just been trying to stay busy.
I'm good. Just went for a bike ride.
Some human interaction.
Yeah, it's been kind of busy actually. I've been trying to stay productive.
I mean, like everyone else,
creatively
productive.
Been better.
Overwhelmed,
and that's definitely helping keeping me sane,
a bit crazy,
but keeping me together.
Watching lots of shows. I hope you're okay.
But isolation is not just long; it's like
if you need to talk.
it's long. But yeah.
Connection is intense. Connection is lightning. Connection is vibrant and playful. Connection creates a feeling of security, but also a feeling of risk. Connection creates disconnection.
See many nano scars on my epicentral northern area on a semi-puffed bit, as if a nerve lies beneath, puffing like a balloon. I can see slightly south is a white patch that is the size of a double dot on a slight gradient bit of my hand. I can see west coast of my hand from the second last knuckle, a puff like a parachuted bit of my hand, and the only small knuckle in my hand. I can see a bigger scar from a bone break in my hand. I can see 2 V-shaped veins green like branches. I can see a circular dot at the center just before my wrist. I can see a ditch in my knuckles and a bulge on my last knuckle from a deformed bone.
Mother. Mother Universe, are you there? I know the word mother is foreign to you, but they forced foreign upon me. They corrupted my tongue, my tone, my speech. Our ancestral history is unknown yet hidden. How? How can that be? For divine eyes cannot see what's true. Why? Like how? Ummah Universe, can you see? Can you please just tell me, because I've tried and I'm tired. Seriously, I cannot do this anymore. I'm literally trapped in a life of black versus white, of white versus you, of you versus we. I'm hated upon before I even opened my eyes, before I could even see, feel, or breathe. I'm a puppet in a broken society. They stole from me, from us. They wiped your mark from this rich land. They've wiped our mark from this rich land only to destroy you. It's funny actually, because they gift me their story as my own. And they literally act like I should be grateful. They act like I should be thankful for no family, happy with no home, happy with no tribe, home with no land, rich with no wealth, healthy with no trees, no existence of our history. her story, your story. Mamai, help me. Please help me. What rights do I have in a world that shuns me? How can I fight with no people behind me? Why should I cry if my tears are not mine alone? Yes, Mamai, my heart breaks. Yeah, as my head continues to rise, I'm caught between a tie that should not be a fight. Are you listening? Or have you given up too? Or have they silenced you? Quietened you? What should I do, Mama? Amai? Umu? Mother Universe, are you there? Have you ever been there?
As I stared into the sea, I thought of the bluish water that was your inner soul, so vibrant. Sunsets with your energy as you refuel yourself. The magic shines right out of you like the moon, even in the darkest of skies. Stars surround you, a protection like no other. You outglow those same stars, even though they were bright, no fear in sight. You could see the world when looking into your eyes. Shades of blue or green, or a reflection of a mirror. What do you see? She knows a lot more than you think. Her energy soaks up all your energy while she figures you out. But you'll never know this. Her hands are powerful, after all she does do magic with them.
I looked for happiness the last place I left it. 15, a schoolgirl. I was having one of those winter mornings where the sun stays up. My clothes neatly ironed. I was early. Here Comes the Sun was playing through my MP3. It was winter, but it felt like spring to me. When the sun sticks around for the day and doesn't just clock out after its morning paper round of reminding us that the world isn't over yet. On our last phone call, we decided to end our friendship. All I could see were flashbacks of school. The afternoon walks to pick up your little bro. The getting on the W3 to Wood Green just to share a £1 McFlurry and try on outfits we'll never buy. Remember that time we went and got matching friendship stones? I got you one that said happiness and you got me one that said peace, or whatever way around. Some moments live forever, and that was one of them. We're immortalized in my memory. That's 12 years of knowing someone intimately, seeing each other through childhood, girlhood, and womanhood. I guess some pretenses don't last. I guess some people don't last forever. Your eyes are double glazed windows, a breath of fresh air.
A gateway to the sky.
I've been encouraged to smile with my stomach, my eyes, the back of my neck, my fingertips. There's levels to this. I am reserving the front row. It's like 7 depths of heaven, 7 depths of watching the moon, trying to find me.
Who lives on the block of flats? Openly access. There's levels to this.
The buzzer on the door.
We hope you enjoyed Wax Lyrical and everything that we said at the beginning. I hope it made sense and you actually really got the power of the young people's voices. So we can see how you connect with young people and how you teach them to find their voice from the last film. But now tell us how the Young Animators Club and filmmaking workshops manage to tackle fun and very difficult subjects as well, because it is you know, because some subjects are big and some subjects are fun that you've done, because we do end on a fun subject as well. But how do you find that dichotomy between the two, working with young people?
Yeah, so if I just think of those, so we got the project. So after we coming back to the UK after doing the My Birth Certificate film, we kind of went on a kind of a kind of went on a bit of a tour around London and other places doing these workshops, because once someone had seen the birth certificate, they got really interested in wanting us to come and do some workshops with them. And that ranged from all groups in London to going to Cambodia, Turkey, you know, going back to Bangladesh and going to Jamaica, doing these types of workshops. And the one that you're talking about was done in one of the ones that I think we're showing here is called
Domestic. Yeah.
And so that was done in Istanbul at a primary school over there, and it was quite an interesting experience, because we got invited to the Istanbul Labour Film Festival, where our films, I mean, we've got a really lovely reputation there because our films are shown every year, our documentaries, and our youth work is shown over there. The Rainbow Collective Animation Club's work has been shown there. And they invited us over to not just present our films, but also to do some workshops and to work with activists over there. So we went into a primary school and we did a workshop with a class of about 30 kids. And it was doing the same style where we get them to create storyboards and we talk about a social issue that they're concerned about. So the festival invited us, and the vice principal of the school wanted us, who was part of the festival, wanted us to come and do it.
Right.
But he wasn't, I'm not sure what the reasoning was, but it was done in such a way where we were going in through a back door and leaving through a back door, and we were coming in and doing these workshops.
Right. So that vice head was really wanted his children to do a project that meant something.
Yeah, just to add, Tracey, the work they talked about in their storyboards, they were talking about everything, what domestic terrorism, to what's happening in Kurdistan, to bullying, to domestic abuse, to the environment. I mean, they were huge subjects.
I mean, this is really surprising. Do you know what I mean? That people, I think when we see all this stuff on the news, we forget, I mean, like I've said earlier, that children are just trying to make sense of these huge things happening. And I think, you know, creativity allows them to address it.
Yeah. And so what we did was, once the kids did the storyboards, we had like a vote, and we said which two films do we pick, and the children decided on the domestic violence one, and they decided on the environment, because they were the issues that they thought affected them the most. And that's how those projects came about. And the whole process of them, it was very much done in the same style as how we did the Bangladesh project. We had two crews set up, and we had a crew drawing, we had four crews set up, 2 crews drawing, 2 crews filming.
Right.
And then we edited it during the festival, and we presented it at the festival. And even to now, I've been told that psychologists have used that film that we're going to show now. And there was psychologists had a big conference recently, a couple of years ago now. And I was told it was presented there, and it's done. These children have created something which is a tool for psychologists to learn from. And I think, again, the thing that we're always teaching young people and children and even adults, use your art to make some sort of difference. Film and animation is a really powerful tool. Use it to say something and to create some sort of difference in your community and the world that you're living in.
Well, I think it'd be really perfect now to see Domestic, which is just 2 minutes, and then we will talk about the other film that you made in Bangladesh as well. So now we will show Domestic.
Babası annesini her gün dövüyordu. Bir gün babası annesine o kadar sert vurdu ki çocuğun annesi bayıldı. Çocuk çok korkmuştu. Zamanla bu çocuk sınıf arkadaşları olan kızlara vurmaya başladı. Bunu babasından öğrenmişti. Durum kötüleşince bir psikoloğa gitti. Tüm sorunlarını anlatırken kendini iyi hissetmeye başladı. Bu arada babasını polisler hapise attı. İnsanlara artık zarar veremezdi. Çocuk evine döndüğünde çok iyi biriydi. Bir daha kimseyi incitmedi. Umuyorum ülkemde kimse bir kadını incitmez.
So I hope that short animation showed the breadth of young people's voices yet again. As I said, tonight is purely about celebrating young people with their voice, whatever the subject matter, and as adults or young people watching tonight can take on board how important it is to listen. The next film we're going to see is again another young person's workshop, but this one now is actual filmmaking, and it again happens in Bangladesh, and it's called Me and My Mum, and it tackles the difficult subject again of the clothing workers. We've heard so much on the news, however you intake your information about clothing workers, but I think hearing from the children's perspective for me gave a different gaze on the whole subject.
This film is called Ami Amar Ma. That's the Bengali title. This is a really special film for us because it was the transition from doing the animation to doing film with that same group of children. So those children that have made this film, they were part of the same crew, the same team of kids who'd done the animation workshops with us in Bangladesh. So we were again working with a place called Nagorik, and this is a center which is a daycare center for children of domestic and garment workers. So garment workers can go there in the morning, leave their children, go do a long shift making clothes for the Western market, most of the time getting exploited, but then they know their children are in a good place, and then they come back when their shift is finished. Sometimes it might be 12-hour shift, and they know that their children have been fed, they've slept, had a nap, they've been looked after, they've learned something, and then they're able to take them home. So that was the place that we've been supporting for many years, us and Trade.
Can I just ask, the place that looks after the children, who set that up?
It's Nagorik, so it's a charity.
Oh, I see.
It's a charity called Nagorik. Nagorik's, I've forgotten the actual, the main organization. Nagorik is like a group of a bigger organization, a bigger charity. But Nagorik are brilliant. And so again, the opportunity was to go back over there and to work with the children. And we thought, we've done the animation stuff, and how do we turn that into doing something with film? And again, we'd really progressed onto, we wanted to do, just like we did with the animation workshops, how do we do stuff with a phone? So what we'd done was we bought a bunch of iPod touches, which are kind of like a cheap iPhone. Some people might remember them, these iPods. And we bought a bunch of these iPod touches, and we took them with us because they could film in HD. And we started doing the same thing where we got them to do the storyboards, because that's the storyboards is a way to get a discussion going. So you do the storyboards and you talk about, the beginning, middle, and end. So here's our structure. What are the things you're going to talk about? And then we have a discussion of how is it, with your parent being a garment worker, how does that affect you? How does that affect your life, your relationship with your parent, your friendships, the community that you live in? And so from those discussions come these mini films. Amongst that, we also do workshops on everything from composition to because with that, one of the things that we did was we wanted to show them like close-ups, like real close-ups, like macro style. And so we would show them loads of scenes. I think one of the scenes was we showed them a bunch of Christopher Nolan stuff, clips and we showed them, and in the films you can see that how they use the use of close-up in their short films. So we do a lot of stuff that we would be doing with students who are probably a lot older than them when we're here in the UK, and it was all done off teaching them how to use these things as a tool to create films and to get their stories out and to get their voices heard.
And I think you get a real sense of their home life, their relationships with the other siblings and their other parent that maybe comes into it. You do get a strong sense of who they are and how they are making sense of, or not even making sense, it's just the norm for them.
Yeah. And I think it's such an interesting take on those of us, because we've done a lot of work on the garments industry and done documentaries, and they get screened all over the place. Even to now, we're constantly getting contact. I just got contact from a festival, people in India who will do a screening. But I personally feel these films are so much more powerful, the ones done by the kids, than anything that we could do, because they're so from the heart. This is about their experiences. To me, even though it's film, it kind of feels like documentary to me, and it's a perspective that you've not heard. So those of us here in the West, you think anyone who watches that film, and if you buy clothes at Primark, H&M, any of the shops on your high street where it says made in Bangladesh, you're connected to those children, because what we do as consumers is affecting them, those children, their parents. If they're being exploited, which they are, it's connected to our shopping habits and our thirst for cheap clothes. I just wanted to add one thing, and I think for me it says a lot about the youth projects. It's a moment for us where we were really proud, and it's a huge achievement for those young people. So once that film got released, I think within the year of it being released, it got nominated for a United Nations award, and it won the United Nations award in storytelling, which is a huge achievement for those young people this was their first film that they'd ever made, their first film, and it got this prestigious award. So yeah, that's just something that it just shows you, what is possible, what you can do.
I think it's amazing, and obviously we'll shortly see the film, but it is the connection with what we consume, and I think a lot of young people are very aware of this here in, I'll generically say, the West, and they are very much more aware than I would say 20, 30 years ago. And films like this, I think, really connect with myself as an adult, but also I'm sure it will have a big impact on children. So now we're going to screen Me and My Mum, and Hannan's going to say the title.
The Bengali title is Ami Amar Ma.
Fantastic. Now let's enjoy.
আমার আম্মু গার্মেন্টসে চাকরি করে। এখন আমার আম্মু অনেক অসুস্থ, তাই ঘরের সব কাজ আমার করা লাগে। সারাদিন আমার আম্মু গার্মেন্টসে মেশিন আওয়াজ শুনতে শুনতে এখন এই অসুখটা হয়েছে। আমি টেইলর কাজ শিখতে যাই, টেইলরের কাজ শিখতে আমার ভালো লাগে। আমার ভাই টিভি অন করলে
বাইরে যাও,
আবার এসে সামনে যাও, আবার এসে বলে দাঁড়াও, মাইক ক্যান্সেল করে দেবে, উনি বলুন আগে কাজ।
আমার আম্মু টিভির আওয়াজ শুনলে অথবা কোনো আওয়াজ শুনলে মাথা ঝনঝন করে আর অনেক অসুস্থ হয়ে যায়।
অন্য কাউকে ভালোবাসে, উনি বলুন আগে।
বাড়ি ফিরে এসে দেখি আম্মু অসুস্থ, আমার খুব খারাপ লাগে। ওই মাকে ওষুধ খাওয়াই।
রাজ, তুমি তোমার মতামত জানিও।
আমার খুব খারাপ লাগে।
আমি আর ভাইয়া একসাথে দাঁত ব্রাশ করি। একসাথে স্কুলে যাই। একসাথে খেতে ভালো লাগে। আমার দুজন বাসায় আসছে, লুডো খেলি। লুডো খেলতে গিয়ে আমরা অনেক মজা করি। তখন আমরা একসাথে টিভি দেখি আর দেখি আমি বাইরে থাকি।
পানি খাও।
আমরা সবাই একসাথে ভাত খাই, আমরা খুব ভালো লাগে।
তুমি পানি খাও।
তারপর আমরা সবাই মিলে একসাথে ঘুমাই।
আমার নাম তানিয়া, আমি আমার দুই ভাইকে অনেক ভালোবাসি, জিহাদ আর রিফাত। আমার এক ভাই গুলি খেলতে ভালোবাসে আর এক ভাই চকলেট খেতে ভালোবাসে। আম্মু অফিসে থাকে, তাই আমার ভাইদেরকে সময় দিতে পারে না। আমি আমার ভাইদেরকে সময় দিই, আমার ভাইদেরকে অনেক ভালোবাসি। সকালবেলা উঠে আমি আমার ভাইদেরকে রেডি করি স্কুলে নিয়ে যাওয়ার জন্য। মাথা আছড়ে দিই, স্কুলে ড্রেস পরাই, বাটুম লাগিয়ে দিই, ব্যাগ কান্দে পরিয়ে দিই। তারপর স্কুলে নিয়ে যাই। আমার ভাইদেরকে স্কুলে দিয়ে এসে আমি ঘর মুছি। আমি আমার ভাইদের জন্য খাবার রেডি করি। আমি আমার ভাইদেরকে আনতে যাই, ওদের জন্য আমি সব কিছু করি। তারপরে আমার আব্বু এসে আমার ভাইদেরকে নিয়ে যায়। আমার অনেক খারাপ লাগে, আমার আর কিছু করতে ভালো লাগে না।
আমার ঘুমাতে খুব ভালো লাগে, কিন্তু আমি একদম ঘুমাতে পারি না। আমার মায়ের গার্মেন্টসের চাকরি করে, আমার অনেক সকালে ঘুম থেকে উঠতে হয়। এরপরে বাবাকে চটপটি বানাতে সাহায্য করি। ঘর মুছি, থালা বাড়ি ধুই, ঘর ঝাড়ু দিই। তারপর আমি সেন্টারে যাই। সেন্টারে আমার অনেক ভালো লাগে। আমি আপুদের সাথে লেখাপড়া করি। বাচ্চাদের সাথে খেলি, আমার বান্ধবীর সাথে অনেক মজা করি। সেন্টার থেকে এসে আমি বাবার দোকানে সাহায্য করতে যাই। ঘরে ফিরে আমি বাবার জন্য জেগে থাকি, বাবা আসার অপেক্ষায়। আমার মা সারাদিন গার্মেন্টসে অনেক কাজ করে, তাই ঘুমিয়ে পড়ে। আমি ঘুমাতে পারি না, তাই আমার ঘুমাতে ইচ্ছা করে। আমি যখন ঘরে একা একা বসে থাকি তখন আমার বাবার কথা খুব মনে পড়ে। আমার বাবা নেই বলে আমার খুব মন খারাপ হয়। আমি ঘরে বসে একা একা বসে আমার বাবার ছবি দেখছি। তখন হঠাৎ করে আমার বান্ধবী তার বাবার সঙ্গে স্কুলে যাচ্ছে। আমার বান্ধবীর বাবা তাকে অনেক ঈদে নতুন সুন্দর জামা কাপড় দেয়। কিন্তু আমি তার সুন্দর জামা কাপড় পাই না। আমি আর আমার বান্ধবী যখন গল্প করতেছি তখন আমার বান্ধবী তার বাবার সম্পর্কে অনেক ভালো ভালো কথা বলছে। আমি তার সঙ্গে বলতে পারতেছি না বলে আমার অনেক মন খারাপ লাগছে। আমার মা আর আমি বসে বসে রাতে ঘরে বেনি বুনতেছি। আমার মা সারাদিন কাজ করে এসে আমার সাথে গল্প করে, অনেক মজা করে, তখন আমার খুব ভালো লাগে। তারপরও আমার মাঝে মাঝে আমার বাবার কথা খুব মনে পড়ে। আমার মা আমার অনেক ইচ্ছা পূরণ করার চেষ্টা করে, কিন্তু আমার সব ইচ্ছা পূরণ করতে পারে না।
Welcome back, and I hope you enjoyed. Me and my mum, the clothing workers' children, gave a different gaze on women and their mothers who work in the clothing factories, and it's just, I think, a very powerful film. And as Hannan said, this realism, but the main core of it was the children who came up with the idea. And again, it's what they've seen, what they witnessed, how they witnessed their daily life, whether how they feel about things, or whether they may not even necessarily have strong feelings about it, but they actually wanted to show how they live. So thanks again for allowing us to screen that, Hannan. Now we're going to move on to our final film, which we will end with. As we've discussed, there are also fun things as well that we do with the young animators. And of course, it's so important to talk about the big subjects, but also film. And that's what we're doing here. So our final film is called We Love Film, which is 2 minutes, and again was made during lockdown as part of the Peckham and Nunhead Free Film Festival, which took place 2020, which most of it, the 95% of it, happened online. So Hannan, can you tell us a little bit about the short film We Love Film?
So this is a lovely project. So we did this with our Rainbow Collective Animation Group, collaborating with the Peckham Nunhead Film Festival. And then we brought on a load of extra young people to join the workshop who signed up through the festival. And the theme of it was, we're not able to go to the cinema. We want to talk about, the cinema. We want to talk about movies. We want to talk about, we're a film club, how much we love movies. And so the task that we set the young people was, imagine your favorite film characters and let's relocate them to Peckham. So that was the theme. And so from that came there's the various ideas. I think one of them was, it was the 2 characters from Monsters, Inc. And they're going into the little shopping center in Peckham.
Peckham Palms.
Peckham Palms, that's it, which was lovely. And then what I love within it is as well, we used the music from each of the films as well, from some of the films. So we got copyright-free versions of the music, and we were able to integrate them into the film. And I just think it's such a playful film. It really makes you feel happy, and it's just about the love of cinema and movies and what we all love about these and how movies make us feel. And again, I think, remember, I've always said your film has to be about something. And what this film was about, I think, if you think of it, what is it talking about? It's talking about, not is it talking about our experiences now that we're missing these places that give us so much joy, but it's also talking about the importance of these places, the importance of the places in your community because we're in lockdown, the importance of the cinema, which brings so many people together.
And also while we're here looking at film, talking about film and the history behind it.
Exactly. So I think it's still a film which is so playful still has got something to say. I think whenever I look at any of my students' film, nothing is meaningless. Everything has got meaning to it. And I think this one does as well.
The weekend that they did it was like a Saturday and a Sunday, and they came online and they were drawing and having to take pictures and send it. And again, like the work that you discussed with the Roundhouse and how being in lockdown, it's you have to find a different way of doing things. But the reason why we're here and how this season started is because of lockdown. So I think it's, at this point, it's perfect to say, let's end with our final film, We Love Film, made in collaboration with yourself and the Peckham and Nunhead Free Film Festival and the young animators that joined that weekend. So Hannan, thank you so much for being part of the Upper Norwood Library Visual Conversation Season 2, and also to end as well the season with the variety of work that you've done. I'd say there's so much that you've done. I'm going to put information in the chat because this is just a section of it. And I think it's really important for people to see and find out more about you, the breadth of work that you and Richard work together. But this has been about the young voice and community. So thank you again.
Thank you for having us, definitely. It was a pleasure.
And we'll now watch the 2-minute film, which is perfect for social media. We love film. So thank you.
Thanks.
I am Venom and I love movies because they're fun.
and they have a lot of action in them. Bye, I'm Venom.
I love movies because they are entertaining, funny, and an escape from reality.
I love animation because it allows you to get into a different world and allows you to be whoever you want to be.
I love movies because they help me imagine a world beyond the world I live in.
My personal favourite movie is Inside Out because it's really creative and it's actually relatable. Like, all the thoughts inside of your head are actually like the characters.
Adam was sad because people were laughing at his messy hair. He became happy when he got to Peckham, where everybody were accepted for who they were.
Movies bring everyone together. Let's go to the Peck&Plex to watch our movie. Our movie isn't on yet.
Oh wow, the palms is really nice. Maybe I'll get my hair done. Oh. Or maybe my nails? I might just get a coffee.
I like movies because they're really realistic and they just look cool, I guess.
Are you looking for a cookie? Well, there are cookies down there in Costa.
I love movies because there is always suspension that will keep me waiting for an exciting part of the movie.
I like movies because they're fun to watch with friends and family and they're entertaining.
The movie has got to be the Teen Titans Go movie because it has loads of action in it. It's just a really good movie.
The movie I have drawn is Tolton, a film about the first black Catholic priest in the United States. But now he is in Peckham. Thanks to him, there are black priests in Catholic churches today.
Thank you.